Welcome to this week's edition of the Wheels and Deals Community Spotlight, brought to you by Wheels and Deals of Pomeroy and the Meigs Independent Press.
This is Carrie Rose, the Meigs Independent Press, and I am here again this week with another episode of Community Spotlight sponsored by Wheels and Deals. This week, I'm speaking with Chelsey Kloes, who is the Executive Director of Meigs Gallia CASA GAL. Now, if you haven't heard what this is a very unique program, and it specifically helps children in Meigs and Gallia counties.
Correct.
So explain to us a little bit about what is CASA GAL.
So our mission is to train, recruit, and mentor community members to be advocates in court for children who are going through child abuse, child neglect, or child dependency cases. So children who are removed from their home that need a voice to speak on their behalf of their best interests, their stability, the services that may need, the safety of their home, and things such as that.
And these are children that have possibly been through trauma. They've possibly been through. They're not in the best situation.
Correct.
And this is providing them with a voice to the court.
Yes.
So they're not being lost in the shuffle. They have an advocate.
Yes. Yes.
And now the way that works is people volunteer to do that. Correct.
Correct. Yes.
So how does that work? If you want to be able to be a part of that.
Sure. It doesn't take any special background experience or anything such as that. Doesn't take a certain degree of any sort. You just apply, do an application with us, meet with me one-on-one for a small interview, complete some background checks, take our training. That's about 35 hours, and then swear in with the court under oath and accept the oath to be a CASA GAL, and then we can get you hooked up with your first case.
Now, this is something that I want to stress, you're directly making a difference in these kids' lives that have gone through these things, because the court's listening to you. It's not like you're just, it's an appointed thing and it's just a process. You're really being an advocate for these kids.
Yes.
What does that look like?
Well, when an advocate does accept their first case, I'll sit down with them and kind of give them a rundown of what the case is and the situation, and if they're willing to accept it, then they just go out into the homes of the child and they do their own investigation. That might be speaking with the child, interviewing in the home of the child, whether that be a foster home or a kinship home with a family member. And they just go out there and interview the children, interview anybody that might be significant in the child's life, and then come back and report their opinion on what they believe is the best interest to the judge. We work with Gallia Judge Moulton and Meigs County Judge Powell, and we will formally submit a report and then just continually, every time a proceeding happens, report back services that may need, situations, recommendations that they believe is in the best interest of the child, to ensure that the child's taken care of in that moment, but also in the future.
And that's making, I can't stress that enough, that's making a difference for that child. That can completely change that child's life and the trajectory Absolutely. That they're going on. That could be breaking cycles. That could be, it's a matter of a child that may have gone through trauma or maybe in a situation where it is not safe, and helping them be able to get to that place that is. What are some of the things that you do with the children as far as interacting with the children?
We really just follow them around and kind of see like where they're going. We could go to visit them at school or visit them with a visitation with their parents. We could meet them out at their home. We could take them to the park. We're just kind of building rapport, just seeing what they need. If they're old enough to tell us kind of their wishes, we're able to talk with them about that. One thing I just really love about the CASA program is that so much in that child's life changes in that moment. When they're removed from their home, so much changes. They may be put in a home that's not familiar to them. They may be placed into a new school. They may be a new friends, a group of friends. So much changes, and sometimes caseworkers change just with coming and going and cases moving and such like that. And our goal with the CASA world is to ensure that that child has that CASA from start to finish, so that child has that somebody that they could rely on, and that one thing doesn't change. And so that's our goal with working with the kids. And so we have tons of kids in the county currently that need somebody. So our vision is to see every single case, every single child that is removed from their situation, to have a CASA volunteer to work with them.
Wow. Now, how can someone help? Because we're all about helpers here and making a difference, and how can we help?
Well, first off is getting involved and becoming a CASA volunteer. We are getting ready to start up our next training. It is starting on Tuesday, so it's a little too late to sign up and get involved now. But our next one will be in the fall. We do it 2 times a year. We are a newer program, and so we operate with Athens a lot, and they're the ones that host the training, and we kind of just hop on board with them, but we follow through with them. And so being a volunteer and signing up and getting involved that way would be the #1 best thing that you could ever do, because we, like I said, are hoping that every child does have an advocate for them. But next, I mean, we can always get creative with other things. I know often we get calls about people want to donate clothing or shoes or backpacks, some animals maybe they could take from their home to home, like stuffed animals, gift cards and things like that. Feel free to reach out to me if ever you do have a creative idea. We can definitely work it through. We are grant funded, so we are very specific on how we can spend our money and things like that, and just moving forward. But our volunteers really are what keep us going.
And I know we talked about like some of the things with some children, it's about building that rapport, so maybe a coloring book or something like that.
Yes.
And that's something that, of course there's different, groups within the county that could help with doing things like that, churches, but individuals can do that. But the big thing that you're telling me you need are volunteers.
Absolutely.
And again, in the fall is when the next training will be. This is something that if you have said, we need to stop this cycle, or we need to make a difference, or we need to do something here, and why don't they do something with these kids and take these kids out of the home, and why don't they do this? And believe me, I know that a lot of you have, because I've read your comments, and I know that just myself. I mean, you get frustrated with seeing the cycle perpetuate. This is one of those moments, Meigs County, that you can change the cycle. You can be part of the solution. And this is something that I have a relative that has worked with this program in another state, and it changes lives. You're talking about truly changing a child's life. We're not talking about some kid that is in a 4-hour away country or something like that. You're talking about right here at home, taking care of our kids right here. And in Gallia, Meigs counties, of course, Athens has theirs. They've had their program for a little bit longer, and that's kind of why you guys go through their training. But this is something that we can make a difference right here.
Yes, absolutely.
Is there anything else that you want to add to tell someone about this program?
Well, everything that we do, we offer for you, like the background checks and the training. That is, it's on us. We'll take, we'll take the cost for that. So some people are like, I can't afford to maybe do the background checks and such. So we will do that for you. So just get your applications in. You can always message me at my email, Meigs Gallia CASA @gmail.com, all scrunched together, one word. Or shoot me a phone call at 740-992-4616, and I can get the application for you, whether it be online or even paper application. So just getting involved and doing that application, and maybe getting you started for the next training that we do have coming up in the fall. And so, yeah, we look forward to that, and hope that you even want to learn more about what we do and how we serve our victims here in Meigs and Gallia County.
So this program, and we want to stress, and there's a lot of things you can't share. There's a lot of things that you can't necessarily talk about because they are confidential, and they're part of maybe ongoing court cases and things like that. but just to stress, when you're talking about doing this program, you're talking about this is truly making an impact and a change in these children's lives, correct?
Yes.
So again, if that's something that you really want to be able to be a part of the solution, this is a program that may be a good fit. And when you give your cases out, it's not like you're going to have a volunteer have like 25 cases.
No, absolutely not. We just do 1 to 2 cases at a time, depending on the comfortableness of a CASA. If they just want to have 1 case at one time, that's great. 2, we don't do anything more than 2. But making a difference, I think, too, with the CASA program that we've been able to see is our children's services workers do great things. They are hard workers. They, day in and day out, are out there doing the best they can to keep kiddos safe, and that's in Meigs and Gallia County. And so it's just so great that we also get to help them, because we often talk about how they're overworked and tired and just stressed and this and all these types of things. And it's great that we can just come along the side of them and work as a team to better help that child with stability. And so working with them as a team and then just really seeing that stability come through for that child is one of the greatest things that we see on the daily.
And if you would like to be part of that change, again, what's the number to contact?
740-992-4616. That's my personal extension. You can also reach us. I'm housed in the Meigs County Courtroom, Juvenile Court, in Judge Powell's office. So you can also reach me there as well.
And again, this is about making an impact right here at home with kids that desperately need it. So this has been another episode of Wheels and Deals Community Spotlight, and we're focusing on making a difference here. Meigs Countyans helping Meigs Countyans, and in this case Gallia County too. And it's about Appalachia helping Appalachia and just making a difference, and making a change. We can make a change every day with one decision or another, and we can start right here at home. And I've said it before, and I'm going to say it again. Look for the helpers. This is a helper, and you can be a helper too. So contact them and see about getting into that fall training, and we'll see you again next week for Community Spotlight, sponsored by Wheels and Deals.
This week's Community Spotlight is brought to you by Wheels and Deals of Pomeroy and the Meigs Independent Press.